So I'm headed into work right now. I work at Denny's. Love my boss. Um, but I wanted to talk about why I work at Denny's. I used to be a it's funny to think of this now. Prior to 2024, I was the head of marketing for a Fortune 500 company. After the inauguration and some of the chaos that happened with that, obviously, as you know, if you follow me, I was a pretty vocal critic of the administration. I went to quite a few protests. I actually hosted several protests. All of them were peaceful. But as the new president took over with Congress and the Senate and obviously the Supreme Court, they started enacting a lot of legislation. So the first one was the NIA, the National Integrity Act, which is a sweeping series of bills designed to give the incoming administration almost exclusive power. There really was no need for Congress anymore, no need for the Supreme Court. And a lot of this was like geared at sort of maintaining national security under the guise of quote unquote moral standards. And one of those provisions was called FACO. It's an acronym. It stands for the Federal Academic Compliance Order. And what FACO did was it sort of tied federal funding for college education to being a loyal citizen of the United States. So on paper, it was this, idea that if you're going to get funded by the government to go to school, then you need to be loyal to the government. But what it actually was a loyalty test to sort of get rid of anyone ideologically that you didn't like, to punish education institutions. And so with a massive surveillance apparatus, the United States government was able to pinpoint all of the people who had counter viewpoints, all of the people who were quote unquote, the enemy within. So I would say, I'm trying to think of the exact date now, but so January, February, March, April, May. So in June of 2025, I was arrested at a protest, and I was just charged with a very common protest arrest, which is unlawful. Oh, by the way, I have to have that in my car. It records everything I do. Anyways, it was a very simple misdemeanor charge, unlawful assembly. It's like getting a parking ticket, not a big deal. Flash forward to 3 months later, so September, I get a letter in the mail from the Department of Education, FAFSA, and then I got a letter from my college, all on the same day. My degree had been revoked, and I owe the federal government $42,000 for my degree. Because of FAFO, I can't file bankruptcy against that debt, and they can and they have started to seize some of my property. So for all of you that thought, oh, I can just protest all this stuff, we're going to stand up, we're going to fight back. So far, fighting back has cost me $42,000. My job, some of my family, my pride, and now my college degree.